And good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to week 4 of In the Huddle, the Courier Times and the Intelligencer's weekly look at the high school football schedule up ahead. My name is Kevin Cooney, and today we're at Council Rock South High School. We've gone inside, and we are here with a special guest. We're taking the place of Drew Markle will be one Ed Kracz, who has to fill about a size 6 sneaker. And Ed, we'll start with you, and we'll look up at the northern end of the county as we head into the first weekend of league play. North Penn last week with a huge non-league win over St. Joe Prep. Where does this put North Penn in the power structure within the PIAA now?
Well, that was a great win for North Penn, no question about it. Congratulations to Dick Beck and all the North Penn Knights and his assistant coaching staff, because St. Joseph's Prep is a tough team to play year in and year out, and North Penn plays them, and they played them well. It would have been nice to see that game played on a clean field. As it was a sloppy field, lots of rain, lots of mud. Kind of took away some things both teams wanted to do.
And when you look at things within District 1, Pennsbury was supposed to be one of the co-favorites with North Penn. They have now kind of gone to 2-1. There's some questions there. Neshaminy is considered down because of the lack of experience at the skill position, although they're starting to play a little better now. Glen Mills, Ridley, those teams kind of unknown at this point. North Penn has to be considered right now the favorite to win this district, don't you agree?
Absolutely. I certainly agree with that. I don't see a team out there that can challenge them. Like you said, Neshaminy's already gotten one loss to Souderton, and Souderton was beaten by Roman Catholic. We'll
stay in the Continental and we'll look at Penn Ridge and Quakertown. Quakertown and Penn Ridge both 3-0, first time in forever, probably since the Happy Days era. When you look at it, can these two teams keep it going?
Penn Ridge and Quakertown are both 3-0, and that's a great accomplishment for those programs, considering the struggles that they had last year and the year before that even. So yeah, it's great that they're 3-0. I don't know if they can sustain it. Penn Ridge is a very small team on both sides of the line. Now, they did knock off Archbishop Wood, a much superior team size-wise in the trenches in triple overtime. And North Penn, getting back to them, is a smaller team than St. Joseph's Prep, and they were able to use their quickness. So size isn't everything, but I think over the course of a season, that may begin to show a wear and tear factor, and Penn Ridge may not be as strong later in the season as they are right now. Quakertown is getting big plays from their quarterback, from their tight end and fullback and linebacker Eric Fath, who has committed to Liberty, and they might have a little more staying power. Remains to be seen.
What is interesting is that, as we mentioned, those two schools not playing this weekend in league play because they play on Thanksgiving. You and I both are big fans of the Thanksgiving Day weekend, but now that they're both in the conference, is it fair that a conference game, it happened for years with Penn's PW and Norristown, is it fair that a conference game waits till Thanksgiving and possibly could be canceled if one of these teams makes the playoffs?
Well, that's interesting. I'm a big fan of Thanksgiving too. I love turkey and mashed potatoes and all that. I love football. Yeah, thanks. I love football. I love Thanksgiving football. And is it fair? I don't know if it's fair or not. Chances are North Penn is not going to lose to Penn Ridge and Quakertown, and that game will not be for the Suburban One League Continental Conference Championship. Could happen. If it does, then the PIAA and the SOL will have a problem, because both Penn Ridge and Quakertown, if they're that good to contend for the Continental Conference title, will be in the playoffs, and there is a chance that game would get canceled, and then who knows what happens from there.
There's a solution here which LaSalle and St. Joe Prep had for years. Play twice.
Why do we need Einstein here, Kev, if you got it all figured out?
We're doing that in honor of Markle.
All right, so let me ask you, Kevin. Here we are we're in Council Rock South High School in a classroom. If my eye begins to twitch, it's been a long time since I've been in a high school classroom. But both teams are doing very well, especially Council Rock South, off to a 3-0 start, like you mentioned. And they have a big test with Pennsbury, 2-1. Pennsbury coming off a loss. Could be a little more dangerous. How do you see this game?
What I see right now is the one thing Pennsbury is really having trouble doing is stopping the run. They allowed 200 yards on the ground last week against Glen Mills. They allowed almost 200 rushing yards in the first half the week before against Frankfort. And they're going to face an offense in Council Rock South that is almost exclusively right now running the football and running the football effectively. Council Rock South last week struggled against Commonwealth, and I think a lot of that we would agree is due to the emotion of the week after the death of Bruce Stansbury, the assistant coach, the offensive line coach here. Kids had a long week. It's also a little bit of a look-ahead game, honestly. Pensbury coming up, rather. I think you're looking at right now. This is Council Rock South's statement game. They have won 8 in a row. A lot of it against teams that people would say, okay, you should take care of.
How about Neshaminy? They have they're 2-1,
right,
coming off a big win last week over Germantown, I believe it was.
Right.
And they have Abington this week. Abington is 3-0. Good test. Abington had a lot of talent that they had to replace from last season, right? They lost their quarterback, Kevin Morton, who went to Kutztown University. They lost a lot on the offensive line. How do you see Neshaminy contending with Abington?
See, Neshaminy is one of those teams that week in, week out, it's going to be interesting to see because of the fact of all the inexperienced skill players. We talked about this all 3 weeks here, that you want to see how their skill players kind of developed in the role. Brian Dean kind of stepped up as a running back. Last week was not a real good gauge because Germantown, quite frankly, is awful. When you look at right now, this is a game that if you're Abington, you need this game. You need this game to springboard yourself back into the conversation in the National Conference Hunt. Looking actually back up to the north for 1 second, and a program close to your heart is the Pirates of Palisades.
Yeah, I like Palisades.
You like Palisades.
Yeah,
now, for those of you who don't know, Palisades is in Australia. Actually, no. Palisades is a District 11 team within the borders of District 1. Follow me on this. They also have put up some enormous point totals there, Ed. Yeah. What can you tell us about the Palisades Pirates?
Well, Palisades has a tremendous set of skill players. They have a very good quarterback, and they have a good running back, John Groover, very fast. They, like North Penn, got a big play on special teams last weekend in their win over Palmerton, which a lot of people thought that was the game for the Colonial League title. Those teams were expected to be at the top. I'm sure there's many more tests out there for Palisades. But, you know, Palisades for years, and this is why they're dear to my heart, was the ultimate underdog. They had only one winning season since starting football in 1972, I believe it was, and they went 6-5 in 1988. But that was their lone winning season until 3 years ago. Brian Gilbert took over 5 years ago and has had this program on the rise ever since.
Which leads us to Game of the Week time, and Ed, I think you're leaning towards a battle of unbeatens in Willow Grove.
That would be Upper Moreland, Kev.
Yeah.
Upper Moreland and Upper Dublin, yes indeed. Upper Dublin's got another Mastromato kid. I think this is maybe the 15th or 16th Mastromato that's gone through Upper Dublin. Ridiculous number of Mastromatos have gone through there. But there's another one, and I think he had a handful of touchdowns last week, and Upper Moreland's going to need to stop him. Upper Moreland does a great job balancing their offense. They can run and they can throw, and it's definitely the game of the week. Last year, Upper Dublin beat Upper Moreland 28-7, I believe it was, and I think there's some hard feelings left over from that game, and it should be interesting to see how it pans out.
We'd love to know what you think, and it's easy to do. Just go to www.bucksmontsportsnow.com and to send us a question, a comment, any kind of feedback on what's good, what's bad, what you'd like to see. Again, please let us know, because this is new to us and it's new to you. We'd love to hear from you. Again, www.bucksmontsportsnow.com is the way to do it.
Plus, to stay in tune with your community and for all your information needs, there's 2 websites that cover Bucksmont like no other. It's www.couriertimesnow.com and www.intelligencernow.com. Updated 24 hours a day. It's a continuous news site that covers everything, news and sports and all the goings on in your community. That's Courier Times Now and Intelligencer Now, your one-stop stop for local news.